The Association of Bureau d'Change Operators of Nigeria says the recall of BDC operators into the mainstream Forex market is a major factor in the stability being seen with the exchange rate. The disclosure is contained in a statement released by the APCON president Aminu Gwadebe over the weekend, where he lauded the central bank Governor Olayemi Cardoso for the decision. More of that actually coming from the Center for the Protection of Private Enterprise, the CPPA, also lauding the decision, well, this time on the recapitalization side, not FX, of the central bank. That's according to economist, CEO of CPPA, Dr. Muda Yusuf, emphasizing the importance of minimizing disruptions to the banking system during the implementation of those new requirements. We have a Rise business analyst, Chika Mbonu, with us in the studio to get his thoughts. Happy, welcome back from Easter, Chika. Good morning to you. I was going to say, well, happy good Monday or good Tuesday. Good to see you, Chika. Good morning.
How are you today?
Fine, thank you, thank you. So what do you make of this recapitalization?
I mean, I was in the airport this morning and everybody's asking, we haven't spoken about this thing. I mean, why do banks, what does capital represent in a bank? I mean, I'm sure so many people have spoken about this in our programs since this news, came out. Of course, banks take risks. We know that. And that's even why the largest asset in the bank is called risk asset. Like loans and advances that the banks give. And because banks take risks, but remember what banks use principally is the depositors fund. And because they take this depositors fund, indeed the banking concept is defined as taking money from those who have surplus, which is like depositors, and giving to those who have deficits, which is those who take only loans. So in that process, you can lose some money. Or even investments some banks make can actually, the values can fall. So in the process, banks make some losses, and if losses happen, it shouldn't lead to the depletion of the depositors fund. Something should take care of that. That's why one of the reasons why banks need capital. And the capital actually as a cushion against losses incurred by banks. So that's the first reason for those of people who have been asking me, why do banks need this capital, more capital? So the higher the risk you take, the more capital that you require, And the other thing the capital does for you is enables you to do more. You can take on more transactions. Now, aligning this to the current government in power's decision to move the economy to $1 trillion, so this is where
by 2030.
This is where the monetary policy, supports the fiscal policy. And that's another reason for that. And so I read one article where somebody said the good, the bad, and ugly for capitalization, which is a very good write-up. So there are very good sides to this. And the other question people ask me is that why did CBN insist that you cannot use shareholders' fund for that? And I said the CBN has a prerogative to define capital, in this case, as a deemed fate. We know when you're talking about capital worldwide, shareholder fund is included. We know that when you're computing all the ratios about capital, shareholder fund is included. At every forum that capital talked about, shareholder fund is included. Now, CBN in their wisdom, in moving forward, and in Recapitalization Bank of Nigeria said, exclude shareholder fund. For them, I think they're looking at the big picture. Let's not beat around so much. Because if you include the shareholders fund, literally maybe half of the big banks, almost all the big banks already made you have to put a new capital base at maybe 10 trillion before something can happen. But there's a reason for this to happen so that new funds can come into the system. In addition to the way that a lot of the shareholder funds have been accumulated. And so we'll let that go. It's not something they're going to legislate on or go to court about, but CBN had defined that. Because if that happens, more than 4 trillion of naira equivalent in dollars may come into the system, which will help the economy to grow. That's why they have done that. So we'll give them the definition. So, but see, the bigger thing is the things that your rider talked about. Like the last time this was done in Nigeria, it was chaotic and caused a lot of panic in the system. I guess the 24 months they have given you this time will help. and let it be deliberate and structured, so that it doesn't cause panic in the system, and so that will not be the marketing of the banks also, because this economy requires the big banks, the medium-sized banks, and the small banks, especially as we're chasing financial inclusion. In a country that financial inclusion is barely struggling between about 50%, you need every bank that you have to make sure that you achieve that. So that is that. So is it a plus for the system? Yes. Recapitalization is very important and we'll support it.
Okay.
Yeah. Implementation is key to make sure that there's no confusion in the banking system. Are we happy that they removed shareholders fund? No. It would have helped make it easier to banks because of some issues. CBN said go to the market, but if you look at stock exchange, you notice that I don't think there have been active new issues in this Nigerian stock exchange for some time now, because of the lethargy in the market, because of the station in the market. Apart from one or two companies, they haven't had any massive public issue. So you can imagine 4 trillion coming to this market. In this situation where people are struggling to eat, he who has eaten, has excess money, that's the person that will buy shares and save.
Right.
So under this scenario that we have now, and ensuring that, hoping that the Nigerian market will support it, it's going to be a problem because we don't have the liquidity to do that. So we are hoping that a lot of other things will happen. So I hope CBN put that in the basket to make sure there's no confusion in the banking system, to make sure that financial stability is continued, the way they manage the process, and then let it ride.
Okay. What do you think of they gave the banks up to the end of this month to come up with a plan for the CBN? Some have said it's a little too soon.
It's too short. I think it's too short.
Okay.
For something like this, it's going to be for this this strategic. 1 month is too short because a lot of consultation are going to take place. A lot of things are going to take place. I think 30 days is too short for people to come out with that plan. That's one of the things I saw that it's not fair in their guidelines. They should have given at least 90 days for banks to go and plan, and because if you're going to give indication of you're going to do merger, it's not 30 days you're going to discuss it. If you're going to start raising private investment, go to market, it's not 30 days. You're going to consider a lot of things. If you're going to talk about foreign investors, it's not 30 days you're going to use in doing it. They should have stretched it a little more to 90 days.
Gotcha.
That's for me, my comment on that.
The Bureau de Change are praising the...
success has many fathers. Nothing succeeds like success. But you see, people always ask me everywhere, what will happen to the exchange rate? What the direction? And I can be consistent. I said the price of every commodity is determined by the demand and supply. It's not more than that. So the APCOM people trying to claim credit for this is like, like the goal has been scored, and then he says you're shouting the audience that made the player play well, and that's why they scored the goal. It's okay. They are there, but the issues, we said it before, that once there's veritable and sustainable supply to the market, the panic buys will reduce. And those who have been holding dollars in their everybody that knew, all my staff, everybody had $100 bill, or some even bought at 1,900 and so on and so forth. But so everybody's that. So that panic situation should reduce, and then you see what's happening. It's not normal to show the panic situation. It's panic that causes. Exchange rates don't fall from 1,900 to 600 overnight, or once it does. It has to do with panic. It tells you that it doesn't sustain. There's no fundamentals behind the increase in the exchange rate. It has to do that. It has to do with panic. That's why the rates were falling the way they're falling. So it's just the supply that came in, and CBN has been consistent in some of the policies. A lot of things talked about here, and and they have been diligent in implementation of some of them. And so some reasonable supply has started coming in. They clear the backlog of FX, create confidence in the system, and then and people go to the market, they get a fair price. You see, I was telling somebody the other day, see guys, people are trying to rejoice that the price has come down to whatever it is, 1.6 or 1.4 or 1 whatever. You guys don't remember that that this one was at 800 at the time, and it just ballooned from 800 to this overnight, and so it's like we've been beating so much that it's like and people are so scared it's going to go to 2,000. So it's like, anything below anything, so they don't realize that this was at 800 at the time, and it was okay. So now it's at 1, 2 or 1, 6.
1, 3 or
1, 3, whatever.
1, 4, yeah.
People are actually saying, oh yeah, you know, they have done very well. It's not that. It needs to come down more, you know, because the pass-through effect
of inflation
is still there.
Yeah.
And something fundamental has to happen before the car goes into reverse. You know.
We'll see how things work out. All right, business analyst Chika Mbonu. Chika, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for breaking these things down for us.